Anthropic CEO shares some dire warnings when it comes to white-collar job destruction from AI. Welcome back to the AI Daily Brief Headlines Edition, all the daily AI news you need in around 5 minutes. Earlier this week, we discussed a recent job report around how entry-level tech jobs were not happening at nearly the same rate they were just a couple of years ago. A lot of the conversation is around what part of that was coming from AI. Well, Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei has waded into that conversation with some fairly dire warnings. Speaking with Axios, Amodei accelerated his timeline on AI job displacement and warned that young workers would be the first hit. He forecast that AI-related downsizing could see unemployment spike to between 10 and 20%. His belief is that we could end up in a world where, to use his words, cancer is cured, the economy grows at 10% a year, the budget is balanced, and 20% of people don't have jobs. Now, Amodei has been warning that this was coming for years, but his concern is only growing more urgent. He said that governments and AI companies need to stop sugarcoating what's coming, and told Axios that lawmakers generally don't get it, CEOs are afraid to speak up, and workers don't believe AI is coming for their job until it happens to them. He said, most of them are unaware that this is about to happen. It sounds crazy and people just don't believe it. We, as the producers of this technology, have a duty and an obligation to be honest about what is coming. One proposal for how AI companies could have responsibility around this issue is a 3% token tax that would be levied on AI companies and redistributed in some way. He commented, obviously that's not in my economic interest, but I think that would be a reasonable solution to the problem. Still, it's very clear from listening to Dario that the main point is not any one particular solution that he's promoting, but just increasing the urgency of the conversation. I continue to be optimistic in the long term. On the one hand, I've said frequently on this show that I think one of the most comforting lies we tell ourselves is this notion that AI isn't going to take our jobs, but someone using AI will. I think AI is coming for our jobs in the sense that it's coming for basically every task we do now. But if you've listened to me talk about, for example, the Microsoft idea of agent bosses, it's not that I think everyone's not going to have a job. I think that the jobs are going to look really different. At the same time, that is a long-term view. And I think in the transition, there will be a lot of displacement. And I tend to agree with Dario that we need to be having conversations around what that displacement is going to look like, what our remediations are in the short and medium term, and how we transition people and companies to a different future. Now, speaking of companies in AI, as we'll discuss later with NVIDIA, it is earnings season, of course, and upgraded forecasts from Salesforce suggest that their AI products are beginning to pay off. During this week's earnings, the company boosted revenue projections by around $500 million for the year. Salesforce also disclosed that their Agentforce product now has 4,000 paid deals signed, up from 3,000 in February. AI revenue is up 120% year on year. Overall revenue growth came in at 7.6%, but Salesforce projects growth ticking up to between 8 and 9% this year as AI leads a return to strength. Alongside growing sales, the company is also starting to see efficiency gains from their internal use of their AI products. CFO Robin Washington told analysts, "We've reduced some of our hiring needs." She said the firm has been able to redeploy 500 customer service workers to other roles, saving $50 million. Salesforce is also hiring fewer engineers due to productivity gains from AI. Washington commented, "We view these as assistants, but they are going to allow us to have to hire less and hopefully make our existing folks more productive." Executives also discussed the $8 billion acquisition of Informatica, which will add a data management layer to the company's suite to facilitate agentic workflows. Now, that Informatica news was actually one of the stories that got shunted to the side based on some travel, and so I wanted to come back to it. This is the largest acquisition for Salesforce since they spent $27.7 billion buying Slack in 2020. It's an $8 billion deal to acquire Informatica, which is a data management company that offers data integration and governance solutions. This deal has been a long time in the making, with the Wall Street Journal first reporting talks in April of last year. Now, this is very clearly about beefing up Salesforce's agentic offering. One of the bottlenecks for enterprise agent deployments is ensuring access to proprietary data. Brad Zelnick of Deutsche Bank wrote in a research note, "Without proper governance and the ability to manage and contextualize data, which Informatica excels at, the utility of what Salesforce AI generates is likely limited." One of the things that we hear as a challenge all the time with agents in general, but Agentforce and Salesforce in specific, is anytime you have data that's locked in a closed ecosystem, or an agent that can only access a certain portion of enterprise data, you tend to run up against real limits of what agents can do. Informatica is definitely about helping Salesforce break out of the constraints of their current data cloud and give them access to information outside of the Salesforce ecosystem for those enterprises. I actually thought that this long tweet thread from Prakalpa on Twitter was pretty dead on. She writes, "Salesforce just bought Informatica for $8 billion, but something felt off. I reread the press release. Why wasn't data integration Informatica's core business front and center? Turns out, it's barely mentioned. I counted the keywords. Data integration 3 times, metadata 5 times, governance 9 times. Over 50% of Informatica's revenue comes from data integration, so why is metadata and governance stealing the spotlight? Because this isn't really a data integration story. This is a metadata story. It's one that goes beyond Salesforce and Informatica. It's about how enterprise platforms are quietly re-architecting themselves for AI. Just look at what Mark Benioff said. Enterprise-grade AI demands data transparency, deep contextual understanding, and rigorous governance. Translation, AI isn't just about models or LLMs, it's about metadata infrastructure. Salesforce isn't alone. A few weeks ago, ServiceNow acquired DataWorld, another metadata platform. Why are business application giants suddenly buying metadata companies? My take, we're hitting the limits of the agent hype cycle. Yes, AI agents look great in demos, but in production, they fail without context, without trust, without governance. Metadata makes agents work. The new AI game plan for enterprise software: keep data in your ecosystem, keep agents in your ecosystem, win the CIO, buy and build metadata infrastructure to hold it all together. But here's the paradox. Enterprise data is only getting more fragmented. More tools, more agents, more data silos. Heterogeneity isn't going away. AI is accelerating it. That's why I believe in a fragmented world of data, compute, and agents, the metadata and governance layer must be the most unified part of the stack. Open, neutral, interoperable. A control plane for the enterprise. Like I said, I think that is pretty spot on and explains a lot of this acquisition. Lastly today in the headlines, one cool feature update. Perplexity seems to want to go way beyond AI search. The company has released a new tool for generating reports, spreadsheets, dashboards, and more. Collectively known as Perplexity Labs, the features are available to paying subscribers, and in an announcement blog post, Perplexity wrote, Perplexity Labs can help you complete a variety of work and personal projects. Labs is designed to invest more time, 10 minutes or longer, and leverage additional tools to accomplish tasks, such as advanced file generation and mini-app creation. The idea is to leverage Perplexity's agentic features to go beyond deep research into producing actual deliverables. Rather than just spitting out a raw report, they want to use a combination of coding and image creation tools to create something that's a little more final and polished. Now, interestingly, you're also seeing some of the other general agent companies start to hone in around specific use cases and build UIs around them. I noticed, for example, that almost at the same time, Manus announced Manus Slides. They write, Manus creates stunning structured presentations instantly. With a single prompt, Manus generates entire slide decks tailored to your needs. Whether you're presenting in a boardroom, a classroom, or online, Manus ensures your message lands. Pretty interesting to see then these deep research type tools move into the production of the end documents as well. Let me know if you've had a chance to play around with Perplexity Labs or Manus Slides yet. For now, though, that's going to do it for today's AI Daily Brief Headlines edition. Up next, the main episode.